All right, we're going to go through the pre-workout sequence for the ATG cycles, okay? So we're going to go through our lower body, just how to prepare yourself really well so that you can remain pain-free and get the best out of your workouts in all your lower body ATG workouts, okay? This is the same pre-workout sequence that we use for all workouts, because you need to be able to prepare your body to be able to work well, pain-free, and get the most out of your workout so you can exert force safely without the risk of extra injury. So you need a foam roller to start with. And the first thing we're gonna do is roll out our glutes. So we're just gonna stimulate our glutes a little bit. We're just gonna send a little bit of stimulus through the glutes here, just back and forth like this. Nice and easy. And then just holding there and just pressing back and forth here like this. And opening up like this, just a little bit of flossing, that's all. And then over onto the other glute there, just rolling. That's it. And then just pressing there a little bit. You're just sort of just bringing the awareness to your glutes here. Okay, and then again, a bit of a clamming feature. Just flossing the muscle through there. And then we want to get into your quads. Next biggest muscle that we're going to be using for your ATG stuff. Probably one of the bigger ones there. We want to go in the center of your quads here, just back and forth. Just a little bit of a roll there. And specifically for this cycle there, we want to come up onto your edge of the VMO here, which is your vastus medialis, the top of the edge of your knee here. And that's this bit here, this sort of teardrop muscle we're going to roll into here, okay? So just stimulating in there. You might hold there and just flex back and forth, again flossing up and down. It only needs to be about sort of 15-20 seconds or so. Other side here, just rolling gently and then flexing back and forth there nicely. Okay, and then what we're going to do, going back to the other side there again, I just want to roll out onto the lateralis. So obviously you've got 4 quads. We want to go into the vastus lateralis, which actually goes around your ITB there a little bit. It's that big muscle here. Okay, and we want to get right into the center there. On this, so sort of you're kind of on a 45-degree angle. We're not going to roll there, but we're going to flex back and forth, and this can be fairly painful, so you just got to do your best here. Good, and then other side there. So again, you're not spending much time, you're just relieving the pressure a little bit, stirring up your neurological system so that it knows you're ready to perform. That's the key here. And there's not really any rules, you're just sort of trying to do what feels good. Next up, we're going to go into our TFL. So we're going to go right on the very edge here of our hips. So just above the greater trochanter of our femur and below our hip bone. And we just want to roll back and forth like this. Okay? Just nicely. It's very, very easy. And only about that much, and then we're on to the other side. And this is called your SMR, right? This is that stage 1 where we're just doing that self-myofascial release. And then finally, for these lower body sessions, I'm going to get you to get on your back here, and we're going to roll out the thoracic spine. So you want to sort of hug yourself here and just roll up and down that center of our back here. And then just a little bit of a floss back and forth like this, I find really helpful. And by now, you should be feeling pretty good and ready to begin the stretch phase. So put that aside. You can obviously use balls as well, all the mini mobility balls that we've got, or what you've got at home. So I've got wires sticking out everywhere. Next up, we want to stretch through our hip flexors here. So we're just going to lunge into here. We want to be moving sort of back and forth here, really stretching out through our hip flexors, and then the other side here as well. So just stretching out through those hip flexors nicely. And then we're going to go back to the opposite side here. We're going to put our hands in the middle here. Okay, and you want to lunge into this. I just like to give a little bit of a wiggle here. We're going to open up our thoracic spine a bit more in the stretch. So we're going to open up and then bring our elbow down to the ground here. Open it up. We'll do this half a dozen times. Okay. Just a really nice way to get started. Loosen up that lower back into the glute and groin here. Half a dozen times into the other side again. And again, that little bit of a wiggle side to side. It's really, really helpful. Opening up and coming down, elbow to the ground. Super easy. You only need, half a dozen of these. I think there's one more. Nice, and then I would just sit back into your heels here. Maybe into a deep squat. Just see how that feels. A little bit of wiggling around. And then you've got a corrective exercise. So corrective exercise could be many different things. The most common ones we've got are your bird dogs. So you want to do something that challenges your coordination and allows you to just gather a little bit of coordination and firing of core and coordination together to get you prepared, ready to lift and do these more coordinated movements. So there's these ones, I just did 10 of those. Those are bird dogs, or you could do dead bugs as well. I always like these. There's many others if you could talk to your coach, but these are the go-to obvious ones. So just making sure you're moving with purpose and really being focused with control. More advanced, you're looking at stuff like bear crawls, lateral bear crawls, and then putting things on your back, starting with something like this and maybe into a roller where you've got to keep that steady on your back, and then into balls and things like that. Next up, we want to activate the muscles that we're going to use. So we want to stir up our quads and our glutes. Things that which would really be helpful is things like this, putting this little green band in and around our legs like this. You can use any sort of band, and this is going to help stimulate your glutes a little bit. So things like a crab walk, things like this, making it really, really easy. And making this super, super basic, right? Just back and forth, trying to open up your glutes, and then coming either onto the ground or down like this into a thruster. So you're really activating those glutes, getting them fired up, ready to work hard. You do these just a few times till you feel like you get a little bit of that burn, right? You want to really stir it up. Okay, and that should really help you fire yourself up. And by now, you're actually into the foundational movements, which is when you can start now into the next phase of your ATG cycle, where it might be ROKP, the reverse out knee pain, or you're starting on tibialis anterior raises, or some sort of calf raise or something like that. It'll be the very start that you get into in these lower body phases. So that's your foundational movement in this scenario. Enjoy, get the most out of this workout.